This is Google Translate. We all know it, and it's one of the first places that many of us turn if we need to look up a word very quickly. But sometimes when we teach students, they can rely a bit too much on Google Translate, stopping to look up every single word. I've got a student just like this. She works in IT and she's recently moved to a different country. The issue is that her level of English is low intermediate or suffer level B1. Her company uses English as their operating language as they are a multinational company. So every time she speaks, she can speak until she reaches a word she doesn't know, when she quickly opens a tab with Google Translate and translates it in the tab. This can happen up to 2-3 times a minute. She speaks, slows down, Googles a word, then continues speaking. She also rarely paraphrases her ideas. She wants to express them with the same detail that she can in her L1. So why is this an issue? What happens if she's not at the computer? We often have to speak in situations which require quick communication offline, where there may not be time to look up a word even quickly. As this could also be an issue in professional or public speaking environments, where stopping to look up a word could be taken as a sign of unprofessionalism. This could lead to a lack of confidence in her ability to speak English. In other words, she could become dependent on having her translator handy. She's not noticing or remembering the words that she's looking up. That is to say, the odds of her remembering words like this are pretty low. She could also use a word with an incorrect meaning or connotation, which could lead to miscommunication with a colleague or client. So clearly it is a sort of behavior that we need to change. But in order for us to do this, we first need to understand what this behavior is rooted in and why. She might feel unconfident speaking English in an environment where her peers are all more proficient than she is. In other words, she may be trying to save face and not show that her level of English is lower than her colleagues. She may have a lack of repair strategies, meaning that she actually has never been taught what to do if she doesn't know a word. This may sound like something we do intuitively, but not everyone can use repair strategies effectively without training. She works in IT, so she's always on her computer, and as she works online, nobody can see what she's looking up. Her translator is always available to her. So what can we do then? How can we help this learner to become more autonomous and rely on her translation less? One idea is to allow her to look up a restricted number of words per lesson. For example, she can look up 5 words per lesson. However, she must also record them in a notebook and share that list with you, so that you can A, check that she translated them correctly, and B, use it to help her revise the words later, for example, via a quiz. Teaching repair strategies. Expose her to examples of real conversations where speakers use techniques like hedging, using vague language, or paraphrasing when they forget words. Exposing her to an example of a proficient speaker having the same problem may also increase her confidence in such situations, and many modern course books have lessons with focus on this skill. Set up role plays and activities where the focus is on offline communication, even in an online lesson, and eliminating translator use as a part of instructions. Giving the learner a bad translation. Go onto Google Translate, enter your text, and change the languages until there is just a mass of words in English. Then ask the learner to try to work out the original message in English. When they are done, you can elicit from them why it was so difficult and what this tells us about relying too much on translators. Does this mean that translators and translation apps are bad? No, not at all. What it does mean is that they, like anything else, are a tool, and they are a tool that our learners may need to be taught how and when to use wisely.